Hello makers, welcome to Always Yarn First, a podcast about knitting, crochet, spinning, and all the yarny goodness in between. I'm Lindsay and I'm coming to you from Little Rock, Arkansas. And as always, you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Always Yarn First. Before we get in the episode, a little admin things. I'm running one make-along right now, which is the hashtag Nothing But Double. This is what I'm running with my friend Lori from Arkansas Yarn Co. And you just need to make a blanket holding any yarn double. I was making a Marling Darling make-along, but that has finished. The last episode I had pulled 2 winners. Neither one has contacted me yet. So I will put their names again here, and if I do not hear from them by the next episode, I will pull new winners. One more announcement is I had also mentioned, I believe last week, that I am teaching a Tunisian Crochet beginner class at Arkansas Yarn Co. It will be Saturday, August 5th at 11 o'clock, I believe the time is, and you can sign up now on the Arkansas Yarn Co. website, so I will have the link to that below if you would like to sign up. All right, welcome. This is episode 41. Today is Friday, July 7th, and let's see. I've been working on mostly one project still, but I have touched a few other things this week. I am not wearing any knitting. You can see I'm in workout clothes because I have a lot to get done today. So usually when I'm doing errands and things around the house, plus I need to exercise. So I just got my workout gear on. So sorry for the super relaxed look today, but it is what it is. So if you are new to the podcast, I name every episode by a song because before my love of yarn became my love of music. I love almost all genres of music, so I find one that's appropriately named for the podcast, and I have a playlist on Spotify. So this week's song is Done For Me by Charlie Puth featuring Kehlani, and because, y'all, this one project I've been working on, I'm done, which we'll get into. But if you would like to follow the podcast playlist, which is basically every episode title up through this week, I have a link below that you can listen to that for previous songs. All right, so this week I do not have any finished objects. I have cast on something new. I do have whips. I have a lot of spinning because Tour de Fleece. And I have a few acquisitions, and also I haven't highlighted any podcasts in a while, and I've noticed recently I've found a lot of new ones, new to me ones, so I'm going to do a little podcast highlight also. So, as always, I will put the links below to different timestamps if you'd like to skip around, so feel free to do that. All right, so let's get into it. I have cast on one thing. It is in my Knick Knack Knits bag, and I've cast on another Tunisian Crochet washcloth because, like I said, I'm hosting a class. This is what we will be making. The last time I had shown the kind of like the light coral one but that was finer weight, so I got another skein. This is part of my acquisitions. I got another skein of the Queensland cotton in this blue color, and this is the thicker weight one. So this is what we're going to be using for the class. This is Queensland cotton, coastal cotton. It's 100% cotton, 185 yards for 100 grams. It is a medium weight, and the color is cobalt. So I am using an H hook. This is a from my interchangeable set from Knit Picks, but because I'm doing a washcloth, I just put on a stitch stopper that I got from the previous Sock Yarn Society box, and I'm just using it like this. So yeah, we are going to be doing this exact stitch for the beginner class. You do not have to have any crochet experience. You do not have to have any Tunisian crochet experience. If you just want to learn it, we will literally be, I will teach you how to start a project, how to do the forward pass, which for the forward pass, we're doing the Tunisian simple stitch, TSS stitch, and then the return stitch. And then how to bind it off, so to speak, because after you do the return pass, you see you have this row, looks like eyelets. So how to close it up. So we will be making those dishcloths, so I thought I'd cast on another one. And Monday I had gone to Lori's house to film our Soft Yarn Society unboxing. And I did not want to bring my big old shawl in the heat, so I brought this as an outdoor project to have. So yeah, that is my only new cast on. All right, whips. We're going to leave the big one for last. So 2 of the things that I have worked on a little bit. This is in my Black Pearl Magic Bag. And this is my Mustache Yarn sock. Last week you saw, or the last podcast I should say, you saw that I had finished one full sock. And I was here on this sock. This is from my friend Scott. This is not a pattern. I just did 1x1 ribbing at the top, and then I changed to 3x1 ribbing, and I'm just making a big old tube, and then I will do cut in heels at the end. So yeah, I made a little bit of progress. This has been my purse project when I don't want something big, just making a tube. I have the other one here. So I have quite a ways to go on this. But yeah, this is my fun, non-thinking project. Although my next whip kind of is, I'm at that zone too, which is nice. I have a couple. So yes, this is, like I said, no pattern. I'm calling it my Palpatine socks because it is based on the character Palpatine from Star Wars. The yarn is Mustache Perfect Match Socks in the Dark Emperor colorway. Next, I have made some more progress on my Streamline tank. This is in my Care Bears Knit for Brains bag by Laura. This was on my goal to finish for June, but it didn't happen. I forgot, we'll talk about goals too this month. But I did make some progress. I think there was one day especially where I made most of this project progress because I just needed a break from my shawl. I just needed something else to work on, so this was the winner. So last time I had just cast on and was at the ribbing, you can see there. So I made some good progress. And I have decided that I am not going to do the patterning in the middle. So I am going to do this like I did the other panel. The other panel is completely finished. I showed it last time. And I'm going to keep in this patterning and knit until I get about to 13 inches is what my note said. And then I will start like the underarm, the shaping as in the pattern. So I'm just going to have a plain tank top. I have my patterning that I kept on the side and the bottom, and the top will be as per pattern, but I'm not going to do the detail in the middle. So this is a Universal Yarn Bamboo Pop in the colorway Winter Squash. I love this colorway. And again, this yarn is one of my favorites to work on right now. This Bamboo Pop just feels nice on my hands. Here is the label. It is a 50% cotton, 50% bamboo. It's 100 grams, 292 yards. Yeah, I love this yarn. So if you cannot get it at your local yarn shop, Arkansas Yarn Co. does carry it. Online you can order it. I highly suggest it for a summer knit. And I love the tank top too, because I've already made one previously. All right. So those are the 3 other things I have touched besides my big one. All right, so let's get into it. This is the pressed flower shawl. Currently, it's not in a project bag because, one, it's huge, and I've been working on it nonstop. So it basically moves from my desk here to my knitting chair, and that's it. All right, last time I was just about to put it on bigger needles. I did. You're literally not even going to be able to see it all. So here's half of it right here. So it's coming along great. Still loving the process. The knitting is fine. But ironically, I remember the last podcast I talked about how you need to stop and take a look at your knitting, like really look at it. I had also talked about previously I had an error on this and I had to frog back quite a few rows and fix it. Then I was paying attention. So last night, I've literally been keeping track of how many rows I have left. This is due, this is a sample knit for Argyle Yarn Shop in Brooklyn, New York that I'm doing. It is due July 15th. Today is July 7th. The next 2 days, there will be very little knitting because I will be at a convention for the next 2 days, all day long. I'll have some knitting time at night, but probably I'll be too tired. So pretty much today and Monday was my goal to finish this. Monday, have it done so it can soak overnight, or soak and block overnight, and get it out in the mail Tuesday next week. Okay, so last night, yesterday, I think I just started the final chart, and I was excited. The final chart is 40 rows. And I was really excited. I'm like, okay, I can totally do this. I got this. I'm on track. So I stopped and I was, just kind of admiring the shawl. I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, it looks so good. I'm looking at this side. For the right side, like this is where you're starting. So I'm looking at this side. Looks so good. Great. Awesome. And then I noticed something like right here. So I'm not going to go into it in detail because my tale of woe is I don't have time to back all the way up to this spot and fix it. I won't get it done if I do. So I'm going to have to leave it. So let's see. So up to this point, again, starting row right here. Everything's great. Everything's great. Everything's great. Something is wrong starting right here. And I'm just going to hold it up. Can you tell? You probably can't at first. But if you're like me and you make a mistake in your knitting, once you see it, that's all you can see. It is literally all you can see. All I can say is the flowers are still all aligned correctly. So thank goodness for that, because that's what really pulls your eyes into the shawl is the flowers, lining up in the right spot. So thankfully, that is not the problem. The problem is, and I don't even know how I did this, honestly. So right at this flower, the lighting is probably not great. Something goes wrong where I'm doing like extra brown and you don't see the pink. Like I stopped doing the pink stitches. Whereas before you can see pops of pink throughout. Like I said, once you see this big stretch of brown, I can't unsee it. And then it continues all the way across. So like I started it correctly and then I don't even know what I did. I have no clue. The only thing I can think of is I have my chart on the Coco Knits, the magnet board. And when you close the magnet board and you reopen it, I have like the ruler marking my row I'm on. Well, sometimes the magnets move and shift when you're opening it. So I'm wondering if it's shifted to the next row where I'm using the same color, but I'm doing something different. I don't know. Anyway, I freaked out about this last night. Showed my daughter. She's like, I wouldn't have been able to tell had you not showed me. Then I got on a Zoom call with Nicole, Professor Pearl, and some other folks, and I showed it to them, and they said, just leave it. It's not a big deal. I'm like, but of course, again, you know that when you have made a mistake, that's all you can see. Now, every time I open the shawl, that's where my eyes go. That's where I'm looking for it. So I'm really hoping it's not a huge deal because, like I said, I don't have time to go back and fix the problem. And then once I finished that row, I was back on track. Like, I don't even understand what happened. After that, again, because I'm thinking, oh, a mistake like that's going to be mistake rows every row after that. But it's not. Like, the flowers are lining up. Everything's correct. And I'm halfway done with the last chart. And everything is fine. So I don't know. I just went into like a weird lapse there. And it is what it is, I guess. So we'll see if anything comes of that. But because of that, also, if you're like me, once you've made a mistake, like, to me, the project is like dead. Like, I'm done with it. I'm not happy with it anymore. I don't love it anymore. We're not friends. So that's why I said that this episode is called Done for Me, because in my mind, I'm done with it. I'm over it, but obviously I'm not. So that's out of the way. So where I'm at, again, I'm back on track. The last chart is heavier concentrated on the flowers. You get more flowers. You can see they're closer together here, and that's how it's supposed to be on the border chart, which is where I'm at. So as of right now, let's see. I have my marker on my phone. I believe I have 25 rows left. Yep, 25 rows left. So I'm just using a knitting app and going down every time I do a row. I have 25 rows till this is done. So I have today and Monday to finish those 25 rows and bind off. And I feel like that is totally doable. So yeah. So next podcast, there will just be a picture of a finished object because this will no longer be in my house. It will be in New York. And that. I have enjoyed working on it. It is a mosaic knitting project. I enjoy seeing the flowers come through, the pinks come through. Yeah, that mistake just really killed it for me. So even more so why I'm trying to do a bunch today, because in my brain, I'm like, if it wasn't a sample knit, I'd be like putting it in timeout corner, but I don't have that as a choice. So I have to finish it. That is my last knitting whip. So next we'll get into spinning. All right, so I mentioned that beginning July 1st was Tour de Fleece. Again, I'm not on a team or anything like that. I am just seeing how much I can spin myself. And to me, spinning every day means I'm going to get more cohesive with my spins. And yeah, so I'm anxious to see the beginning skeins I've made compared to the end of the month to see how they compare with how they look. So I have spun a lot. I pretty much have been working on my shawl or spinning. I have finished skeins here. All right, so these are the first two I did. And I will say all of these yarns I have done are from that alpaca I had previously shown. This is all pure alpaca. This is from what I got in the farm in Iowa, by where I grew up. And my friend Lori from Arkansas Yarn Co. dyed all these. So I have been doing this first. So the first ones I did, I just kind of tried to do bobbins full of certain colors. So I did this light pink, which you see in here, and then I did the electric pink separately, and I plied them together. This I am planning on making Lori like a Sophie scarf, I thought, as a gift back to her so she could have her dyed alpaca as a gift back. None of these skeins are washed yet. So this is just plied together and I skein them up, but they need to be washed. So yeah, they might look a little bit different. And I haven't figured out the yardage yet because I figured I'd wash them first. So that was the first ones I did. Then I still had some electric pink, but then it went into oranges and yellows. And this one is my favorite. Look at that. Like, orange and pink look so good together. I love this so much. This is definitely a keeper for me. This is my jam right here. So that was my third skein. And then yesterday I plied these two up. So then after all that, I still had a little bit of the electric pink and I was getting to the blues and greens. So the blues and greens I did together. That just made sense. This cute little skein. This is also definitely my colors right here. Love this. And then I got this funky one because I had a little bit of pink and then like the greeny, acidy green. This reminds me of Fruit Stripes gum, the packaging with the funky zebra. So yeah, this one's weird. I don't know what this is going to be. It's very funky. But yeah, I just plied these two last night. So I have 5 skeins I plied together already, which is awesome. I am having so much fun, but I think I still have more of the alpaca. I'll show that real quick. So here's what I have left from what Lori dyed me. We're getting into like blues and like the orangey browns, which these will all go together really well. But I think I'm going to give myself an alpaca break and work on one of my Gritty Knits bats. So this is from February. Let's give it a show here. Yeah. Just like all these purples and whites and some blue and brown in there. So this is a 4-ounce bat from the Mystery Bat Club from Gritty Knits. And this has Targhee, Merino, Bamboo, Silk, and Stellina in it. So I think this is what I'm going to work on today, starting today, for my spinning. So yeah, are you guys doing Tour de Fleece? Are you just trying to spin every day? Are you part of a team? I'm curious to know below. Really excited. I figure I'm going to I probably will wash these this weekend, especially because Lori was afraid about the dye and the alpaca. So I'm going to watch each color separately in case there is some bleeding. But I've been stacking them in a secure location from my cat in the dining room and just making a pile of what I get done for the month so that I can count up how many yards I've spun in all together to make skeins. So that's been really fun. I mean, for July 7th, these aren't super huge skeins. I don't even know. Let's see. I can see this one feels like the thinnest. I can measure or I can weigh how many grams this is. I don't even know if it's going to be 50 grams. Yeah, so this one is 29 grams. So it's not even 50 grams. But some of these other ones, yeah, this one is 56 grams. So yeah, it'll be fun to see what I end up with on that. So that is all the spinning I have. All right, so let's get in briefly to acquisitions. I have a few. So the other day I went on Arkansas Yarn Co. website mainly to buy the cotton yarn I wanted another skein of. So I bought that, and then I just bought things randomly. Just was having a bad day, and so I stress shop. I don't deny it. I had been eyeing this one for a while, and I hadn't bought it. This is just a 70-gram sock set. So 50 grams plus 20 grams. This is on the Yummy Plush, which is 85 merino, 15% nylon, and this is in the Dandelion Fluff colorway. And I think I will use that for socks. Then I bought this other one, and I love it, and I really thought it will be for a giveaway. So this is Yummy Sparkle Base, if the sparkles are coming through here, and which is 75% merino, 15% nylon, 10% stellina. And this is in the colorway Skittles. So yeah, so maybe if I hear from one of those previous winners, you may be getting this. So I got that. And then many weeks ago, Arkansas Yarn Co., the last podcast they did, Jessa had shown some acquisitions, and I had some FOMO real bad. She had gotten something from Simply Serving, which here is the card. And I had to have it. So this whole order is brought to you by this little stitch marker. Now, if you watch Studio Ghibli movies, you'll know this is from Howl's Moving Castle. And I love it so much. It is so precious, and I got a sticker for it too. So the whole order was because I had to have this, because Jessa had this, and I needed it immediately. And then I also bought a little snack cake with a little bite out of it. These were my favorite snacks growing up. These were, yeah, my favorite ones. These are dangerous. And I also got a sticker of plants that I had already given to my daughter. So that is from Simply Serving. And that is it for acquisitions. All right, so before we get into goals, I wanted to do a little podcaster highlight, I guess. Last year, I think I did every week I highlighted a podcaster, because as a podcaster with a small podcast right now, I should say, I think it's fun to highlight other podcasters, because when I hear people mention my podcast and theirs, I get super excited. So I thought I would mention a few that have been relatively new to me. Now, I just wrote down the name of the podcast and the name of the person. So the first one is Hey Mom. She is Megan, and she's known as Wool and Cottonwoods on Instagram. I've only watched one of her podcasts, and her mom passed away in February, and her mom was a knitter also. So after that, she felt a void not being able to talk about creative things. So she started a podcast. So I've only watched one episode, but I have subscribed to her. Then there is Twin Aura Knits. That is Erica and Jess. They are twins, and they are super cute. They definitely have I love their color vibe, because they're into like the subtle neons and all that stuff. They are super cute. I've watched a few of their episodes. And then there is Texas Peach Knits. That is Stephanie, who lives in Texas. And I've only, again, watched one of her episodes, but I have also subscribed to her. And she is a homeschooling mom that talks a little bit about that too, which I totally appreciate. Then there is The Fruitful Hands, which is Diana and Katie, and they are a mom and daughter podcast, which I always find fun. The last one is the one I've watched the most of, which is called The Thread. It is Nicole, and she is a self-proclaimed nerdy knitwear designer, I guess. Her podcast says that she's trying to watch her on her journey to become a bona fide knitwear designer. She has some knitwear designs out, which are stunning. Most of her patterns right now are inspired by like Lord of the Rings. So that's what we're talking about. It gets into the nerdy aspect of it. So she is super cute. She is super real, very fun to watch, very enthusiastic. So yeah, I hope that you will check out one or more of those podcasts, and I have all of their YouTubes linked below. All right, so last thing for this podcast is goals. Okay, June was something. All right, so my goals for June were working on my pressed flower shawl. I have definitely done that. Like, that has been most of what I've done. My other goals was work on my Lamana cardigan, 30 minutes a day. As you haven't seen that, so that did not happen. My other goal was to finish a tank top. Again, I've worked on it, but I'm not quite there. That will definitely get finished in July, because once this shawl is off my needles, I feel like I'm gonna just like want to work on all the things that have been lingering here on my cart. So that didn't happen either. Now, as far as goals in July, I haven't even wrote them down yet. So I definitely want to finish my Streamline tank. Definitely. I don't really have any other goals. I feel like I don't want to say pressured. That's the wrong word. But being under a deadline for this shawl, like, I just want to have a smooth and easy July. Especially because, like I said, we're going into the middle of July. Like, next weekend it'll be the middle of July, and I will just be getting this shawl done and sent out. So by then I'll only have half of the month left, and then we have the yarn crawl in there. So it's going to be busy and socializing and all the things. So I'm just going to work on whatever I want to work on in July. I want to finish my tank top. That is my one goal. All right, so skeins of yarn. Let's talk that for a minute. So as of the end of May, I still had more yarn outgoing than incoming. That is no longer the case. And I'm pretty sure until the end of July, at least, it's like the end of this month, I feel it's going to get worse. Because again, I have the yarn crawl in there. So let's talk about June, where I was at. So June, I had 25 skeins in. Now, I can't remember what the other 10 were. I mean, there's, of course, always the Sock Yarn Society. I had done some spinning, which those count as, if they're at least 50 grams, I count them to go in my stash. So after this month, too, that's another thing. If I get 50 gram skeins of all this spinning yarn, those are all going to count as in my stash. Then I had purchased 15 balls of yarn at McKinney Knittery. Now, most of those were 50 gram skeins, but I still count them. So one of them, I got 10 balls of 50 gram skeins for a tank top that I need. So that's a lot right there. But my how I count it is if it's at least 50 grams or more full skein, then I count it as a skein in my stash. So full disclosure. So that means as of this year, at the end of June, my total skeins in was 104. Again, including any thing I have spun and goes into my stash. I only had 3 skeins of yarn out because, again, I haven't finished a lot of projects, which means I haven't been completing yarn. So again, if you're new, how I mark it as skeins out is I have finished that ball of yarn. And whether it's completely gone, like I'm in the middle of a sweater and I finish a yarn, then I count it as one out. Or I finish the project, and even though I might have some left, doesn't matter how much, that one is done because the project is done. So I only had 3 skeins out, which is a total of 94. So right now I have 10 more skeins in than out. I'm a little nervous about this month because the yarn crawl. So being a team member at Arkansas Yarn Co., I know the new yarns coming in, what's coming in, all that stuff. So I'm trying to prepare myself to not go crazy. But Lori is getting in a dyer that I have wanted to use their yarn for ages, and I go on their website, I put it in my cart, and then I don't check out. And her and our friend Christy are going to be making a sweater probably in the fall or winter, but they're going to be purchasing a sweater quantity for this. And the color, and I've wanted to make this sweater. The reason I'm not saying it yet is because she hasn't announced that yarn coming in the store, so I don't feel it's fair for me to announce it first. So, but this sweater they're making, I have had on my queue for a long time. I wanted the specific yarn to do it. And she's like, oh, I got a sweater quantity in that too. And I'm like, really? I have so many yarn that I have put away for full sweaters already. But yeah, that's a real possibility of me getting that because my 2 good friends are making that sweater. So we'll see. And then there's another sweater. Oh my goodness, it just left my mind. Yesterday I was just looking at, I almost bought some Noro through the Arkansas Yarn Co. website. Oh, I know. Okay, so my friend Allison, who watches this, Allison, she is a crocheter, just a crocheter, and she just made a dress, and which is amazing. She basically, crocheted 2 panels and did it together. I don't care. Still cool. So years ago, a pattern for a dress came out that I instantly fell in love with. It is the Lotta by Marie Green. And I wanted to make it so much that I told my husband for our anniversary, he's like, what do you want? I'm like, I want you to buy me this pattern. It was in a Lina magazine. It was in a Lina magazine issue. I'm like, I want you to buy me this magazine because I want this pattern, and then I want the yarn to make this dress. And it didn't happen, but that was okay because that dress to me, it is like a fingering / sport weight yarn dress. And I knew it was going to be a longer project, so I wasn't worried about it. But then, since my friend Allison has made a dress, it brought it back up in my mind. And so I went on Ravelry, found the dress, and I'm like, oh, I still really want to make this dress. I'm okay if it takes me longer. It's just kind of like a dream project. So I was kind of looking on Arkansas Yarn Co. website, and I think that I found some yarn that would work for it, some Noro that kind of is a little bit thick and thinnish between fingering and sport. So I think that would be good gauge-wise for it, and I might buy the yarn for that. Again, I don't need it, and that's something that Lori's had in the store for a long time. So do I need to buy it during the yarn crawl? No, it's still there. It's not. It's not going to be one of the new things coming in the store that everyone's going to get excited about. So I'll probably wait on that for a couple months, but that is deep in my mind now. Thanks a lot, Allison. So yeah. So there will definitely be some more yarn in my future this month, but we all say it. I'm really hoping after that, I'm not saying I won't buy any yarn because that's just unreasonable to me. There's just no way. But I feel like this year, you know, I had my, I made my 2 Make 9 boards. One was a regular Make 9 board of things I would like to start and finish. The other one was things I had already had on my needles that I wanted to finish. I only have one more project on that Make 9 board left. Which is the Lace and Fade boxy. And that one needs to back up, do some surgery. That's why that is the last one. But I've really been enjoying that. And although I think I will be good about finishing things up, I think from now on, I would like to make my Make 9 either by things that are already on my needles or hooks, or things that are in my cupboard down here, which is literally bagged up. I have the yarn, I have the pattern printed, I have it ready to go. I've been wanting to make that. Every few months, I open up that cabinet, I relook at the yarn, I look at the picture of the pattern, I'm like, do I still want it? Do I still want it in this yarn? Yes, okay. Things have lived on there for ages now. So I want to start and finish those things. I want to be excited about these sweater quantities, the garment quantities of yarn I already have, and actually work on them. I mean, there's always more beautiful yarn that I'm going to want to buy, that we all want to buy. But there's always going to be more, always. So I would really want to finish this shawl, work on these whips that are on my cart, and then like start pulling out, even if it's one at a time, something in my cabinet that has been lingering that I have the yarn for, and start it so that I can get some of those projects done. So that is my big goal ahead. So, well, that's all I have today, you guys. I hope you're all doing well, staying cool. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's been hot here. And I thank you so much for being here. Please comment, please like, subscribe, all the things, share. And I hope to see you in 2 weeks. Bye.